Greetings everyone, this is C.C Trainor-Ling, and we are Review Team 3, or RT3 as you may call us. We are back to do another review. I am of course C.C Trainor-Ling, and with me are my colleagues. First we have...
Feem!
And we have...
Downloads bacon, son! Well, comma before son. I mean, it's downloads bacon, comma, son, period.
Yep,
Yes.
only you.
Only me.
Anyway, we are back to do another Littlest Pet Shop review, and so...
Choose your episode. So interesting.
Well then, now that we know what episode we will be reviewing, let's check it out.
Check it out!
So this week's episode is So Interesting. So the plot here is when the pets share their most interesting stories, Penny Ling feels left out for not having a real one of her own, so she invents a fictional one where she saves the green bean fairies by retrieving the watering stone from the evil crab witch. So now let's jump right into those positives, with my first positive being the pet stories from the first act. Something about these stories makes me think that these pets are way more interesting than we originally thought, and hey, the stories definitely tell the truth.
I want to say this. Pepper's story could have actually just made an entire episode.
Yeah, because like she mentions that she ended up on some sort of a yacht or a boat or something, like, what the heck? But yeah, that could have definitely made its own episode.
And we also get to see Pepper's owner for the first time in this episode.
Yeah, with his little mustache.
We see him later on in Pet Sounds, I believe.
It's actually kind of interesting, so I didn't know you can have a skunk as a pet, but this guy seems to be okay with that.
Skunks count as pets. It's not legal everywhere, but is legal in some states. Yeah. I can't remember which ones. You just gotta take my word for it.
Except the only difference here is that in the real world, you have to have the glands removed.
Yeah.
So yes, that was Pepper's story. And then there's Zoe's story, which was a pretty good flashback. Juan Jorge Jose.
Right? Who used to do those doggy flips. Or probably still does.
Probably. But then again, he probably has a litter of puppies with some other dog. Anyway.
Yeah.
We have Minka's.
Yeah, Minka's was really interesting, actually. She actually threw the food in the face of a king and no consequences, apparently. Or at least we didn't see any.
Sat there he didn't have any reaction at all. He just sort of just let her throw food at him.
Because reasons.
Okay, when Minka's story, when she was saying the story, I don't know why I laughed so hard when I saw all the food there and I saw just the king sitting there by himself, with this straight facial expression. I don't know why I thought, in his head, he was probably saying, man, I told everybody dinner was going to be at 5. It's 5:01. Where's everybody? And I don't know, that's what I keep thinking every time I see that scene. It's I don't know, it's there's all this food there and no one else is there, and he has this straight facial expression, doesn't really care or something happened. I don't know, I don't know why. This is the worst time to be intrigued on something completely different. Why the king is like that right now. Or what's actually happening there. That should be an episode also.
Why was Minka there? Wait, oh yes, sorry.
Yeah. Reasons. We had reasons.
She was a
Cousins of, apparently her owners knew this guy who knew this guy's cousin or something.
Who knew this guy, who knew this guy, who knew this guy, who knew this guy.
That is true, that's what it was. Now that was a funny story, but I would say that Vinny's was the funniest of all.
Oh, he wrote it, right?
I can definitely agree with that, because his story was just literally, he got sort of, stuck on a train, and then they were that's it, and then he was just hanging off by his tongue.
Literally riding on a train.
Yeah, literally.
I don't know.
Literally.
Literally riding on a train. See, these should be their own episode.
Pet Express. Okay, let's make it happen.
Make it happen. Hasbro.
Yes, those were very interesting stories indeed. But what was most interesting was the best pet of the episode, at least in my opinion, Penny Ling. There's just something about this panda that I have to admire even more than I already have. We all know she's a good ribbon dancer, but now we know that she's a good storyteller. For her to come up with this amazing story just on the fly, over the course of 2 days, is really, really incredible. I don't know if anyone else could have done it better than her. Penny has just owned all the pets at telling stories.
Bam! Hashtag Penny owns stories. That needs to be a hashtag.
I'll make it one.
Because we just hipster like that now.
Yes, we're cool like that.
Oh, yeah, Penny was really cute and adorable. Because, well, we all knew this anyway, but it was just how creative she could be with her story.
Yeah, she was really good in this one when it comes to telling stories. I don't know, something else that I really liked, if I'm going to talk about her in the story, is that how the mystical world of, what was it called? Galloway?
Galloway.
Yes.
So, did anyone else get, like, Willow references from this? If anyone's seen that movie?
I got more of a, kind of want to say Legend of Zelda, but it has similar feels to it, but it's not exactly. Like, there's another game in mind that one reminds me of, but I just can't remember right now.
Yeah. But this, I feel like it could be like a combination of different references. There's like sort of slight Lord of the Rings, not quite as much Lord of the Rings, but I was definitely feeling Willow from this episode.
Yeah.
So that's where we transition into the next positive of the episode, Penny's overall story. Again, like I said before, coming up with it within the course of 2 days is just amazing, and then you have the pets in there as fairies, goblins, wizards, flames, and crab witches. Now that's hilarious.
Yes.
Crab witches.
I was hoping to avoid that. I was hoping to avoid it, but no.
Yeah,
Come on, you got 2 South Park fans, or 3 South Park fans in one video. It's like, it's impossible to avoid that.
Yes. So, nah.
Children.
Other than Sunil actually being pretty funny for the little bit of time that he was on there, I don't know, of course I'm a sucker for Minka, because she was super adorable as a little fairy.
And Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe is very cute, dude. They're both really super adorable, and how come Hasbro hasn't made toys of them like that?
I've been waiting for 2 years!
So have I. It's like, Hasbro, you make them look all cute like fairies and stuff. It's not like they haven't done that before either.
It's like, Hasbro, I've been waiting for 2 years, Hasbro. 2 years, and you still haven't gotten me my Minka fairy toy.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I like the scenery. Can I talk about the scenery?
Yes.
I mean, I like the art style in LPS anyway, but like the backgrounds in this one in particular were really, really nice. Like the waterfall and everything. The water flows like really nicely, and like with the flowers and the trees and just everything. It just looked really nice, and the mountains and even the desert and the dungeons. It really set the scene for me because it had that fantasy element to it that I really liked about this episode.
Absolutely.
They really had their work cut out for them, most, judging that the primary setting of LPS is in a city most of the time, so it is quite nice. It's probably for them to broaden their horizons slightly, to go to different sort of genre / element from what they're used to. So props to them for that, because they pulled it off really well.
Yeah, I was about to say major props to the animation team,
especially with the Russell Flame.
Oh yes.
Was it just me, or did it feel like the Russell Flame was sort of like that one candle flame from Animaniacs, if anyone remembers that?
I was actually thinking more of what was that one? The moving castle from Miyazaki, because there's like that fire. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie.
Yeah, not yet.
Personally not, but I got a Harry Potter vibe from that because of the Sirius Black when he was in the flames, but that's because British.
Flame in the fire, whatever.
In the lair of the Crab Witch.
Crab Witch. Crab.
Stop it.
It's very Lucy.
That laugh, though.
Honestly, I might say that Pepper stole this episode, especially being the Crab Witch and her story. When she was the Crab Witch, I thought it was hilarious. The laugh, just the idea that when she was chasing Penny Ling, she got hit by all the arrows from the booby traps.
And then
her own traps, by the way.
She still points that out as well. She's just like, why did I put these traps there?
You had one job, Pepper. One job!
One job, but she just... I don't know, it's like you set up all these traps and then you forget where they're at and, well, boom. It would be really hard to go to the kitchen or, or the bathroom or something if you have all the location booby-trapped, Not really the smartest design.
And of course we come to the green bean fairy herself, i.e. Blythe. Right at the end, coming out of that, what's that, like a flower or a pot or whatever it is. That was, I don't know how to describe it, it's just, it happened and I really liked it.
Yeah. Could I add a little bit on Blythe, actually? She just encouraged Penny Ling to say her story in the end because, well, Penny wasn't so keen on doing the stories. But Blythe got us encouraged her to tell her little story about the green bean fairies, sorry. But, it wasn't for Blythe, I didn't know if Penny Ling would have told the story.
Yeah, so I guess with that in mind, we have to go into the, what's this? The negatives?
Dun, dun, dun.
Alright, who's the jerk who left the negatives in this episode? I want answers!
It was obviously Feem, she's under like that.
What?
I'm sorry, it wasn't Feem, it was me.
Everyone blames Feem, but no, it was really that downloads bacon.
Yeah, my negative isn't really as much of a negative as it is just a nitpick. I don't know, it goes back to the beginning of the episode, more or less after, I believe it's after Pepper tells her story, and Blythe's like, oh, who's next to tell the story? And she calls Penny Ling, who obviously doesn't want to. So I guess it's just something that happens in a lot of TV shows when the character doesn't want to do it, but they're still trying to push him to do it. I don't know, it just doesn't work too well for me,
Well, yes, but obviously there was a reason for why Penny didn't want to tell her interesting story because, well, she just didn't have one.
I mean, it's still, she could have just said, I don't have one, and then it would have been like, okay, and then just go with everyone else. But of course, we want to have the episode, and we're really motivated her to say the story that she told in the second and third act. So, I mean, it's still something that grinds my gears, but nothing too bad and nothing that I will go into excessive criticism here. So it's just something I noticed, nothing too bad.
And we also have to remember that when you're in a large group of friends, you don't want to feel like the one outsider who doesn't really want to partake in all the fun, so you kind of have to, pretend like you're going along with it even though you're not really that into it. You just want to do it just to keep up appearances with everyone, just so, you don't feel singled out. But yeah, eventually the truth does come out, but as you saw, Blythe didn't exactly force Penny to do it. She just, totally understood, and she did say eventually that, there would be a really interesting tale to tell, and then that's where Penny came up with this fictional story, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, no, all this I already knew, and that's why I'm not going to really take off any points for it. It's just something I noticed. It's nothing really bad, at least. I mean, Blythe wasn't like, Penny, tell the story, or something like that. So, it still worked out, and we learned Penny Ling is really good at telling interesting stories like this, at least. Fictional stories. Unless it's real. Gasp.
Probably is real, but, Penny's like, it wasn't real, but it really was.
He's like, yeah, it wasn't real. She, shows the top of her head, and you can see the little stumps where the flowers come out.
We'll have to get news people on this, right? Ginny Hughes definitely gonna come over here and be like, oh my gosh, Panda in the pet shop has magical flower hair.
Or would this be something for Sally Hairspray?
Yeah, probably. Maybe both of them, they'll probably have a fight between them to who's gonna tell the tale about the panda with the flower hair power.
Don't make us choose. So, anything else?
No.
So I guess final thought time?
Let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up!
Now, just like the episode title says, this episode was very so interesting. I loved everything about it. It's my all-time favorite Penny Ling episode, and my all-time favorite episode of Season 2, right next to What Meme Worry, but we're not talking about that one right now, we talked about that one last week. Anyway, So Interesting is just great. Like I said in the previous review, this episode takes the concept of imagination and amplifies it tenfold. That's what makes this episode really great in my book. Penny is a great storyteller. Everything about her story was really, really great. The pets and their stories, pretty hilarious. And, like everyone else said, these could have been episodes. Well, at least some of them could have been. So, just to make this a short and sweet final thought summary, amazing episode, highly recommended to anyone, and I mean anyone, in this fandom. I give it a 10 out of 10.
So, it's my final thoughts now, and this is a really good episode in my opinion. It shows what the writers can do. As I've been given more genres to work with, this show's always been really good at doing the fantasy elements and kind of going out their comfort zone from the just normal city of downtown city. The story was just amazing, and it's interesting to learn more about Penny as a character and to learn more of her talents and traits, because before this, all we really knew about her is, she likes to ribbon dance. Other than that, we didn't really know as much about what her talents and traits were, but this is a really good episode for Penny Ling in general, because it's probably one of my favorite Penny Ling episodes, if anything. And I like the creativity with all the pets' designs, with like the crab witch Pepper and Flame Russell and the Vinny Goblins. Those were always awesome, and the pet stories at the beginning were really funny too. So I didn't have all much to say more about this episode, but I'd say it's a really good episode, and I recommend anyone to really check it out. Just like C.C said, really, because it kind of has that nice creative elements to it that you don't always see with this show. But it's a nice, refreshing change once in a while to have them dive into more fantasy elements. So I'd like to see them do it more, if anything. I'm gonna get to the point now with my score. My score, this has been a really hard decision to make my final score. No, I'm gonna go for a 9.9 because it's just short of a 10 for me, but it's still a really, really solid episode. And again, recommend it to anyone.
It's now time for my final thoughts and what I think of this episode. As for me, this episode is really, really good. It's not the best episode, but it's a really good one for Season 2. Especially showing how good the animation team is. Because it was a very interesting story, it was a very interesting environment, it was a really good episode to watch. Said that again, but get my point. Now, if you're not a big Penny Ling fan, then this probably won't be your episode. But if you're a big Penny Ling fan, this is the perfect episode for you to check out. So, for myself, I really like this episode, and it's part of, like, the 3 episodes you'll see in every cartoon show. Where someone runs for, like, a office or a political thing, like Blythe running for president, or someone telling an interesting story, or a fallout between 2 best friends. You'll see these in every cartoon show. And for this one, it did a fairly good job. So, I guess to wrap this score up, I will give this episode a solid 9 out of 10.
Well, folks, that takes care of that review. So now you're probably wondering, what episode will we be reviewing next? Well, it's not going to be from Season 1, Season 2, or Season 3. Nope, we're going right into Season 4. Our next review, or reviews, will be the first 2 episodes to Season 4, The Tortoise and the Air, and Pitch Perfect. That's right, RT3 will be diving into Season 4 the next time you see us. So who's excited for the 4th season?
Be there, or be square.
Pants.
I don't mind all basic shapes,
Well, yeah, that's just self-explanatory. So, I guess, if all is said and done, this has been C.C Trainor-Ling,
Feem,
and Downloads Bacon.
And we will be seeing you all for the Season 4 reviews of Littlest Pet Shop. Until then, peace out, home slices.
Cheerio, darlings.
And of course, we'll be seeing you in season 4. So, thanks, and say it with me now. Thanks again.